Let's see how you can create the experience of compassion in yourself. You've got to be able to distinguish love from fear. You've got to be able to use emotional awareness. Put your attention inside yourself, not outside, not on the world. That won't tell you anything. Every time a frightened part of your personality is active, it hurts. And you need courage, the new use of courage, not to impress others, not to make more money, not to do that which will gain you the admiration of others, but the new use of courage, the ability to look directly at the physical sensations and experience them that a frightened part of your personality is creating in you. That requires courage. That you can't have compassion for someone else until you have compassion for yourself. So start that now. Look at yourself with compassion, and you'll see how beautiful you are. Welcome back. Let's talk about compassion. Instead of talking about compassion, let's see how you can create the experience of compassion in yourself. In order to do that, you've got to be able to distinguish love from fear in yourself. You've got to be able to use emotional awareness. That means when you're experiencing something and you want to know if it's coming from fear or if what you're experiencing originates in love, then put your attention inside yourself, not outside, not on the world. That won't tell you anything. That is of value for you about yourself. Turn your attention inside, because when you do, you will find internal dynamics that create the experiences, both painful and blissful, that you encounter. So if you want to change your experiences, you need to change them. This is the first step in creating authentic power. This is very different from the old understanding of power as manipulation and control. That had to do with the world. If you wanted to feel better, you had to change the world. And if you had ability to change the world, that's external power. You had money, prestige, fame, education. And if you didn't, you don't have external power, you don't change the world, and you continue to hurt. All of that is the old consciousness. The new consciousness is the recognition of internal dynamics inside you that create your painful and blissful emotional experiences. So what do you see when you turn your attention inside you? Depends upon where you put it. Put your attention into your energy processing centers. Let me give you an example of 3. Your throat, your chest, and your solar plexus area. You have 7 of these in total. In the East, they're called chakras. But in my experience, it's easier to experience what physical sensations you're feeling in your energy processing centers when you begin with these. So put your attention inside your chest and look for physical sensations, not joyful, unhappy, sad, bouncy. No, none of that. That's not helping. That's emotional illiteracy. If you want to be emotionally literate, you need to look in your energy processing centers and see what physical sensations are occurring there. And by that, I mean aching, throbbing, stabbing, stinging, contracting, burning, cold, hot, expanding. And if you are in a frightened part of your personality, all of the physical sensations that you experience in your energy processing centers will be painful, just like those. And if you look at the thoughts that this part of your personality is thinking, they'll always be judgmental, critical thoughts, not pleasant thoughts. Thoughts like, oh, this is an ugly day. It's gray again. Oh my gosh, she talks a lot. Oh golly, I can't understand this. I'm not as smart as these people. Or I understand this. Why can't they understand it? Or that person's so stupid. Or I'm so stupid. These are the kind of thoughts that a frightened part of your personality feels. So when you see, when you encounter, when you actually experience the painful physical sensations in your energy processing centers, and you observe the judgmental, critical thoughts that a frightened part of your personality is thinking, that is the direct experience of fear, whether it's resentment, jealousy, superiority, anger. All of those are expressions of fear. And you'll feel different physical sensations in different parts of your energy processing centers. They'll all have in common one thing: they hurt. They all have in common something else. When you act on them, they create painful consequences for you. Well, how do you avoid creating painful consequences for yourself while you're hurting? You put your attention, you use your willpower, your free will, to put your attention into a loving part of your personality. That means the time when you were loving or loved, and you knew you were. It might have been with a parent or grandparent, or a classmate, or someone at work, or someone you walked past on the street, and suddenly there was a connection and you were both gone and past each other. But it was there. It was there for a moment. When you put your attention into a loving part of your personality, you change the energy that you're experiencing. You change the orientation that you have. And when you decide to act or speak from that new energy, a loving part of your personality, while you are experiencing the frightened part of your personality with its painful physical sensations and its judgmental thoughts, that is the moment of creating authentic power. That's how it's done. That's where the rubber meets the road. And as you do this again and again and again, you begin to move beyond the control of that frightened part of your personality. You're not trying to make friends with it, surrender to it, embrace it. None of that. That won't help you. The only thing that's going to change you is experiencing that frightened part of your personality intimately and moving beyond its control. You can't move beyond its control when you don't know what it is that you're moving beyond the control of. Emotional awareness shows you unmistakably, unambiguously. This is not easy to do because the frightened parts of your personality are painful, as we've just shown you. They actually hurt. Emotional pain is physical pain. This is one of the significant changes in perception between the old consciousness and the new consciousness. When you realize that emotional pain is physical pain, you can look at it, you can feel it, really feel it. You can make it the object of a meditation, and that changes everything. You can put an arm's length distance between you and what you're feeling and realize that it's coming from a part of your personality. And you have many parts, and each of the different parts has different ways of experiencing. And when they're painful, that's fear. And when they're blissful, that's love. What I've described to you just now is creating authentic power, experiencing everything in you, all of the parts of your personality, to be precise, that keep you from loving, that keep you from giving the gifts you were born to give. And that's where your joy comes into the picture, and vitality and creativity. Now, in that process, you develop an intimate experience with fear in terms of physical sensations. It hurts. You know it hurts. Every time a frightened part of your personality is active, it hurts. And you need courage, the new use of courage, not to impress others, not to make more money, not to do that which will gain you the admiration of others, but the new use of courage, the ability to look directly at the physical sensations and experience them that a frightened part of your personality is creating in you, that requires courage, the new use of courage. That is the beginning of how to create compassion. It's actually about 80% of it. Now, suppose that you're seeing someone else and you recognize their behavior is coming from fear. Maybe they're shouting. Maybe they're withdrawing. They won't speak. Maybe they're monopolizing the conversation. Maybe they're trying to be the life of the party. Maybe they're trying to impress you. Maybe they're trying to manipulate you or control you. All of those are the behaviors of fear. All of them, for the person who is exhibiting those behaviors, are as painful for that person as those behaviors are for you when you do them. You know you do them because you're hurting. And acting on a frightened part of your personality is an attempt to mask that pain. That's the pursuit of external power. So when you see anyone in your life pursuing external power, trying to manipulate or to control someone else, whether they're shouting or withdrawing or withholding their appreciation or their love, it's not their love. You can't withhold love. Once you're in it, it doesn't. You can't contain it. You might say love is a fire that's out of control. But when you're in fear, you're not there. You're contracted. You're excluding others, and you're in pain. So when you see someone else doing those same things, you know that they're in pain. You know that from your own experiences. No one can harm another person unless they're in pain, the one who's doing the harm. No one can berate or shout at or belittle another person unless the person who's doing that is in pain. It's impossible. No one can try to take advantage of another person unless the one who is striving for advantage is in pain. And when you see that in another person, you know how much pain that other person is in. How do you know that? Because you have experienced it yourself. You have been there. You have seen that behavior from the inside, so to speak, the inside of you. Now you're seeing not the inside of someone else. You don't know their emotions or intentions, but you're seeing their behavior. They're pursuing external power. They're trying to manipulate or control, and it's important to them. In fact, when someone is pursuing external power, it's very important to them. And when you see someone else doing that, you know from your own experiences how painful that is, what a painful place that other person is. And when you do that, suddenly your heart melts. And the judgments you had of that person, he's brutal, he's insensitive. Oh, she's a witch. Oh, he's just trying to dominate other people. All of those judgments disappear because you know what that person is doing. He's hurting. She's hurting. And that's where compassion arises. And that's the only place that it arises. It's not caretaking. It's not empathy. It's not sympathy. It's compassion. You know that other person's experiences because they've been your experiences. And instead of judging or belittling that person, your heart reaches out. You don't have to hug someone who's angry. You don't have to do anything. It's a shift in you, a shift from fear to love, a shift from excluding and judging to accepting and appreciating. And as you do, you open up, you soften, you expand, you accept, you become pliable. You become caring. You become loving. That person that you were previously, maybe only a moment ago, judging, condemning, berating. That's how compassion works. That's how you work. That's how your psyche works. And once you know that, you can work with your psyche instead of fighting it. You can work with your experiences instead of fighting them. Your experiences in the world, your experiences within yourself, same thing. They are all showing you parts of your personality that you need to move beyond the control of in order to give your gifts, the gifts that you were born to give, the gifts that satisfy you, that move you beyond all judgment. And you can appreciate yourself and others. This is another way of saying that you can't have compassion for someone else until you have compassion for yourself. So start that now. Appreciate yourself as though you were seeing yourself from another position, as though you were seeing yourself from the position of a non-physical teacher or an angel. From that perspective, you could look at yourself and see yourself as someone who's courageous and bold and daring, someone who's experimenting, or someone who's withdrawing in fear and hurting. Look at yourself with compassion, and you'll see how beautiful you are. The frightened parts of your personality rebel at that thought. They cannot accept it, much less consider it. Yet you are in the earth school, voluntarily, not your choice, the choice of your soul. And you are your soul. You are a partial incarnation of your soul. And you are in the earth school to learn love. That is authentic power. Creating authentic power is creating love. There is no greater power. There is no other power. The universe is love. Compassion for yourself, compassion for others, it's the same thing. From the perception that you are headed toward, from the perspective that your consciousness is now guiding you toward, there are no others. There is one, and all is that. And you are that. What shall you decide? Shall you create with love, or shall you create with fear? Shall you withdraw in pain, or embrace with love? It's your experience, which means your life. It's what you're doing with the present moment. And there's no other time or place that you can change that except right now. Because you're always in this thing that some people call the present moment. You can enjoy yourself too while you're doing all of this. If you're enjoying anything you're hearing on this podcast, subscribe to it. Now, what do I mean by enjoy? Do I mean, is it entertaining for you? Does it make you laugh? Does it make you forget your worries? That's not what I mean. I mean, do you resonate with anything that I say as relevant, profound, and pertinent for you, not for the world, for you? Something that you can use, something that you can experiment with in your life. If you do, if you resonate, then subscribe, because there's more where this comes from. It comes from the universe, as do you. So here's a soul step for you. Take out your notebook that you're always carrying with you because you want to know more about yourself and you want to create authentic power. Not because you should. Should doesn't exist in the domain that I'm describing and sharing. Cause and effect exist. What you cause is an effect. Your intentions, love or fear, are your causes. The effects are your experiences. It's your choice. You choose the cause, you experience the effects. love or fear. And as you choose love, you begin to do all these things that love brings you. Warmth, openness, flexibility, appreciation, the ability to see things as they are, to move effectively in the world, to set the intentions of love without attachment to the outcome. Write down in your notebook all of the times you've judged someone or a circumstance or a thing or yourself. And then write down, did you hurt or did you feel good? You don't have to go into detail. It's a small notebook. Just say, hurt, felt good. And then at the end of each day and at the end of the week before we meet again on this podcast, look at your notebook. See how many times you hurt and how many times you felt good. And now think of those times that you hurt, how many times you've seen other people hurting, and see how your heart looks at them now. Enjoy yourself. All is perfect. I'm Gary Zukav.